Here we go. That's the newsletter, and I'm joined by Justin the cabbie, who's taking a picture. Now the other way up, mate. That's it. Lovely. And he's brought some biscuits in. Ollie, we need tea more than anything else, man. That's what we need. Right. How are they looking? All right.
Yep, seems to be all right.
Right, okay, so give us that and then sit yourself down, mate. Sit yourself down. Right, regular contributor to the show. He's just popped in. Did you see how many biscuits he's brought in, Ollie? You're not having any of these, mate. I mean, you might. I can let you have one. I can let you have one.
Milk, sugar. Milk and sugar, please.
Lovely. Right, okay. So, Justin, first of all, you must be thrilled about... There we go. No, we can put those on if you want. They don't work. They're like the Mickey Mouse ears. No, you don't wear them. Right, that's your microphone there. So, every cab driver I know in the world always says, I pray for the rain. And you just had it. Has it done you any good?
It's quiet out there. It's very quiet. I've just taken a job to Plasto. It was a Guadalupe guy with two drums.
All right.
And a nice little chat, telling me about Guadalupe. And... yeah.
And so you're off now for a holiday in Guadeloupe.
Yeah. Former French colony, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, now, I mean, Stormcab, let's talk a little bit about that. Now, you started up your own channel on YouTube.
Yep.
Which, and what's interesting is you seem to focus on anything that flies or swims.
Yeah, the air shows, which if anybody knows about the air tattoo, was cancelled this year for the first time in 38 years.
Why was that?
I was really disappointed because of heavy rain.
Right.
It rained Thursday, Friday, and all the car parks were soaked, so they had to basically cancel, couldn't risk it. So I was completely devastated. And it came on Friday night when my car got smashed into in Mayfair by another car jumping the lights. So I lost the whole weekend, lost that. So it was a bit devastating, but it just so happens that when you do these air shows, you put it to some rock music, and it's a bit more interesting to watch.
No, I think they're fascinating. As a matter of interest, they're talking about people smashing into you because of the lights. What do you think about that thing of having a little countdown on the lights to tell you when it's going to go to green?
Yeah, because that's probably a good idea. I mean, lights have always been sort of the cabbies' nightmare in London. I think what they should do is they should put sensors on, because I spend a lot of time sitting on, especially at night time. You get to this big junction and the lights are green. As soon as you come to your turn to go through, they go to red. Nothing's coming from either way. You're sitting there wasting fuel, doing nothing. And, they should be put on sensors. The countdown, yeah, because sometimes they take 6 seconds to change from another direction, or they're changing immediately. So it's, they've got to change. They've got to come up with a better plan.
Boris, we want a new plan, mate. We want a new plan.
First, abolish the half-yearly inspections, Boris.
No, is that driving you up the wall?
Well, yeah, I just failed my last one on emissions, and it's a pain because the new car that I've got is supposed to be the best on emissions that has been built, and it failed twice on emissions on 2 inspections. So they've done something wrong, and I was off work for a couple of days because of this. So
I saw a cab the other day. I run to the aid of a cab the other day. I was driving. I was actually in a cab, and there was a cab driving down Oxford Street, and then suddenly he veered off the road straight onto the pavement and looked like he was going to go into a shop. And there was a poor, unsuspecting, pedestrian just walking along, had to jump out of the way. Now then, cab drivers, they're some of the best drivers in the world. Professional drivers, you've got to be really good. I thought, what's going on? And the poor bloke was trying to turn his wheel. Nothing was happening.
Right.
And, how frightening would that be? You're going along and you turn your wheel and it just goes whichever way it wants.
Yeah, I mean, you're thinking with 2 yearly inspections that they would find out about these things. But I've even heard of new cars sort of veering off the road because they're put together most of them put together by hand. Some of the bits, so something's going to fall off.
All right, Ollie, what do you want? Do you want a tuck? I said tuck, or do you want to have a digestive or a hobnob?
Digestive.
Right, okay, let's have some of these. Right. Look, the way I look at it, it's like my time is limited on the air now, so I'm just going to have I've got some biscuits, and I'm going to eat them. Thank you very much indeed for these, mate. So now tell us about, because we talked about the air show stuff, you also do a lot of underwater filming. Now, first of all, see, I looked at that and I thought, I'm going to do a bit of that. Took my video camera underwater, ruined it. How do you go about doing that?
What with that housing?
Yeah, I thought I'd do it with the goldfish. So I shoved the camera in there. Thought, I'm not going to go swimming. I don't want to get wet myself. So I put my camera in there, ruined the camera. So I was going to bill you for it. But how do you go about taking underwater footage?
Well, we're at a really good time nowadays with photography, camcorders, things like that. And in the past, for a case for your camcorder, would have been £1,000. Then a case for your camera would have been again £1,000. Then you would have needed strobes and everything to get the correct light. Now you can buy a compact, you can get the housing for it, and compacts can film and take pictures. So you can have a setup like I've got for about 500 quid and get some, really.
See, that's
good
amazing.
stuff.
Well, I mean, technology nowadays is absolutely amazing, and it makes you think to yourself, has it made it too easy for people? I mean, it hasn't for you because you've got your own channel, and there are some devastating films on there. Go to youtube.com, type in Stormcab, and they all come up. I mean, but you get some really stunning films on there, and also you're only one incident away from making a fortune, aren't you?
Well, I'm not looking for. I suppose I'm not looking for fame. I mean, I went to.
No, but the money wouldn't be a bad idea, would it?
But you know what the thing is, George. I went to Bournemouth Arts College, Arts Institute, and did model making. I went to Central St Martin's, did a foundation. So I've got an artistic background, and I got top grades and everything. But when I went into the model making industry, I thought it's glitz and glamour. It's going to be, working with great models and doing things like, Star Wars, spaceships, Blade Runner, stuff like that.
Ray Harryhausen, that's what you was after.
It's not all about that.
No.
You probably 2% of the work is something cool. Like I was working on a Nike commercial, and I was helping to build this, like Terminator's head that they were going to drop a elevator on, and then the rest of it. For about 3 weeks, I was carving bricks into the side of a building into a miniature, and I just left it because I thought this isn't what I thought it was going to be. And in the entertainment industry, there's a lot of doing stuff for free, doing really long hours for little pay, trying to get yourself noticed.
Look at Ollie. I mean, look at the hours he does, and he just gets a biscuit.
Well, I mean, the entertainment industry, it's like you, George. You survive on 3 or 4 hours sleep, and that's what you've got to do to be able to make it. I think.
I mean, I've always done that. I mean, I
don't know how you do it, mate. I mean, I wish I could. 4 hours sleep, I get 9 a day, at least 9.
No, if I got 4 hours sleep, I'd be lucky. That's a big sleep for me.
I'm so jealous. Have you had that all your life?
Ever since I've been doing it, yeah. I mean, we used to do stupid things when I was on the road. We used to do things. How long can you stay up for? And I remember I stayed awake for 6 days. Never going to sleep. But it got me in the end. I was playing at this place in south of France called Mont de Marsan we're in the Pyrenees, and it's this old theatre. And I'm playing away, and once you pass, it's like hunger. Once you pass that point, you don't feel hungry anymore. So I wasn't feeling tired, but it was obviously doing me no good, physically as well. And I'm playing on stage, and suddenly, out of the audience, a dragon flew out, came straight at me. I ducked, and I looked around, and I'm going, "Did you see that?" And everyone's going, "What are you talking about?"
What, were you the only one that did that 6 hours?
No, everybody else was, but no one else was seeing my hallucinations. Everybody else was like, you'd be, like on stage, and in between songs, you'd suddenly realise our singer, he suddenly started. There was one time that he knelt down, and he's on the floor, and he's got the microphone. He's going, "Oh, I just got to turn this round a nadger," and he was just moving something on the floor that wasn't there. I mean, it was stupid, but the world record apparently was held by Keith Richards at 9 days, and we was always trying to get that he stayed awake for 9 days. But he done it through stimulants. That's the best way. We done it by being completely clean, no booze, no nothing.
Well, you just wanted to sort of see if you could do it.
We were just ridiculously stupid.
We've been up all night. We've been to a party. Yeah. There's no point in going to sleep.
No,
it was like that.
Yeah, 6 days I done.
Oh, well done.
Yeah, I then did sleep for about 14 hours and having to wake me up to go on stage. But no, so I've always been able to get away with. I never sleep for more than 3 hours at a time, ever.
Is that through choice, or you've got so much work, or you can do it?
I don't know. I think it's that, and I do a lot of yoga. Right. What do you do to keep in shape? Because as I said to you before, there's a lot of unfit cab drivers, isn't there? Yeah. And you don't look too bad. I mean, I can see what you're saying.
I've got a little bit of a tummy that appears, and I go out for walks to take photographs. Like the other day, I just went out I drove down to Swanley in Kent and just went for a walk. I didn't walk very far, but a half an hour walk means I have to sleep when I get home. I don't know what's wrong with me. I used to cycle everywhere. I used to swim, and even though
you're past it. That's what it is. You're past it.
Yeah, it's. And the main thing is when I go diving as well. And I only go diving twice a year. I use up so much air. But I've seen people who are like 20 stone and they use nothing. So it's got nothing to do with weight. But kick a couple of times and I'm exhausted.
Yoga, mate. That's what you want to do. Yoga.
Well, does that do physical exercise?
Yeah. Well, the main thing about yoga, I've done one yoga course where we stood there, 1 hour and a half course, where the woman said to us, "Right, let's just stand up and breathe." It was one of the hardest hours that I've ever done, because she was telling you how to breathe and where to breathe and how it comes in, how to hold it, and then how to let it out. Make sure your feet are like that. You're not straight. Move your arms like that. And it's to control the breath. And that's what yoga's all about. And I would recommend it to everybody. It will make you feel better.
Yeah. Speaking about controlling breath, I've liked to try this thing called free diving.
All right.
Hold your breath and go down. And I heard that Frank Sinatra was absolutely to train his voice. He actually did free diving, where he'd jump into a pool and swim underwater for lengths upon lengths, holding his breath, and that made him able to hold notes for such a long time.
Oh, I mean, I can do not of an Olympic pool, but I can do 2 lengths of an ordinary pool underwater.
Wow.
You know, so that's 66 meters. Yeah.
Wow.
That's all right. Mind you, so I am holding on to a dolphin, so it don't take me all that long. Ollie, I'm not... I know you can't put a dolphin in... He just drives me up the wall. He hasn't brought his monkey in today.
That's a typical musician thing. Do you remember that Eddie Murphy's... Delirious.
Oh, yeah,
He keeps talking about James Brown. He keeps talking to the band in the back.
Yeah.
Hey, moving, grooving. What's he saying? That's what you keep doing, Ollie.
Oh, no.
As a musician, what musicians do is they talk to their person in the back and start making up conversations.
You should listen to James Brown live records by James Brown. You listen to him and you go, "Ow, I got it! Wow, I got you $5," because he used to fine his band. He couldn't afford to pay his band,
Yeah.
so he'd fine.
Wasn't that the thing when he clenched his fists?
Yeah.
Or he clapped or something,
Yeah.
pointed, and that was a kind of...
You just lost $20.
Yeah.
He'd to put his fingers up twice. That's $20
Yeah.
fine because you dropped a note, and they'd be going, "No, I didn't." Another $10. and he also, I mean, there's nothing about James Brown that doesn't make me laugh. He got annoyed with his car once, so he killed it by shooting his car.
All right.
He shot his car.
Richard Pryor in his stand-up, Richard Pryor live and... Well, Richard Pryor...
He done the same thing, yeah.
Did with a Magnum, yeah.
But and James Brown used to drive into petrol stations and make sure everybody put the windows up to pretend that their vehicle had air conditioning. You know, but James was just going to a gauge. We're the #1 band in America, man. We can't be seen to not have air conditioning. You know, so they always had to sit there in this raging heat in the car. Right now, let me read a couple of these things out. Justin, Ken just said it's a good idea that I played that Big Country, the band that seemed to have vanished. Yeah, I think the reason is that Stuart Addison hung himself, which kind of puts pay to the band not being able to play again. It was a sad old state of affairs, but yeah, I thought that was pretty good. And then Johnny has said that you're a nice guy. Johnny's come through. He's Johnny in Butler's Wharf. He says that you're a nice guy here.
Oh, me?
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
Right, okay, thank you.
Justin, he says that.
Thank
yeah.
you.
But he says everybody's a nice guy, so I wouldn't take it that much of a compliment. But he then also has said that a woman told you that you're... I was talking about breathing. He said, and a woman told you, George, that was your first mistake. I think he's being disingenuous about women there. But then he says that I'm more gorgeous than you, but he's not too sure about Ollie. But then he hasn't rung Ollie. Ollie, has Johnny rung you? Are you watching Jeremy Kyle? He just watches Jeremy Kyle the whole time. Is it the DNA results yet? It's not his baby, but he's going to stick by her. That's fantastic, isn't it? He's going to stick by her, right? What? And he's going to change his shell suit at least once a month, right? That's good. Okay, then Johnny also says you've got a really nice laugh. I think you've pulled.
Hey.
Yeah, no, I do.
Say, look, where's the camera?
All right, where's it? Oh, no, they won't allow us to have a camera in here, mate. They won't allow us to have a camera in here. So, when's your next trip away?
My wife's birthday's in October, and we're going to... It's a big one. It's Bora Bora. And it's going to cost a lot of money, but because it's a big birthday for her, it made the excuse to get the credit cards out and pay for it. And Bora Bora is, for anyone who doesn't know, it's basically in the middle of the Pacific, smack in the middle, Tahiti, south of sort of Hawaii. It's going to take 4 planes to get there. You're going to have to fly from Heathrow, Paris, Los Angeles, Los Angeles, Tahiti, Tahiti to Bora Bora. But apparently it's the most beautiful island in the world. And
how long have you been swimming under the sea?
Well, the thing is, I'm not even though you sort of mentioned about the diving, I only probably get to dive twice a year.
But how many years have you been doing it?
I've been doing it about when did I qualify? I think I qualified when I got my knowledge. So it was about late 2004. So about 4 years now.